Hello and good evening and welcome once again to Better Than Before in the evening. Well, it's the evening where I am anyway. I'm Dave Edelstein here to talk to you about all things mindful and communicative and assertive and anything to do with speaking clearly and listening actively. Today I thought I'd do a little technical explanation. I had a post about this morning. Passive, aggressive, and assertive communication. Sometimes there's some confusion about what these words mean in terms of communication. Let me just see if I can make a quick cleanup of any confusion about this. Most of us who have not consciously studied how to communicate instinctively have either a passive or an aggressive communication style because we learned our communication style as kids and we learned it by observing our parents, and family communication is very emotion driven very often. Yes, there are families where the parents are extremely mature and excellent communicators and everything is really ideal and children come out of these families with great skills, but I'm going to suggest that that isn't the most common situation. Our parents love us and do what they can for us, but they're often not skilled communicators. They may even have difficulty communicating with each other. And when they communicate with us, as children, they have a tendency to model behaviors that are not useful and push us into behaviors that are not useful when we become adults later on. Typically, children are told to listen to their parents and not talk back, and parents aren't great at listening to a child's reasons or point of view. And so children are encouraged to be what I'm going to call passive communicators. They're encouraged to learn how to repress their feelings, repress their point of view, hold it back, and stay out of trouble by not expressing themselves. If this carries over into adulthood, which it does for many people, especially people who have, for whatever reason, fear problems, these adults are often seriously handicapped in career and in life by not being able to put themselves forward, by not being able to represent their point of view, by having difficulty disagreeing, by having difficulty standing up for themselves, because they were taught as children to be quiet and to hold themselves back. And so the passive communication style is often not communication at all, but a holding back, a yielding, okay, we'll do whatever you want. I'm not going to fight about this. Often it's not even, I'm not going to fight about this. I'm not even going to represent my point of view. I'm going to do anything to paper over disagreement. I'm going to stay silent if I disagree. And while this style has advantages to the other person in that other people get their way with this passive communicator, it's not honest. The big problem with this is it's fundamentally dishonest. The passive communicator pretends to be okay with whatever someone else decides, but often they're not. Often they are not. They're just not representing what they actually feel. They're not revealing their authentic self. They're not revealing their own opinion. They're not revealing their point of view. They're just saying, oh, I'll just settle for whatever anybody else is dishing out. And this is a very, very problematic communication style because other people never know what you want. And very often, passive communicators will go along and let resentment build and hold things back, and then one day they go nuts. and they flip over to the aggressive style, which is, again, if we go back to childhood, often the style exhibited in a certain sense by parents, where one person simply tries to impose his or her will on the other without regard at all to how the other person feels about it. We're going to do this my way or the highway. Because I'm the dad, that's why. Because I'm the boss, that's why. Because I'm in charge, that's why. I'm in charge here. I don't need your opinion. When I want your opinion, I'll ask for it. That's the aggressive style of communication. And it's just as ineffective in its way as the passive style. Sure, you may be able to steamroller a certain number of people a certain amount of the time, but people hate you if you communicate this way. They'll go out of their way to make things not work out for you. No one likes a bully. No one likes a jerk. No one likes people who can only think of themselves, who can never, ever see another point of view, who are even willing to ignore the facts if they don't jibe with what they want. Aggressive communicators, in their way, may be honest about what they want, but they're not really being intellectually honest. They're not, they pretend to be saying, well, I'll do, this way is the best way, I know. But very often they're ignoring a lot of information that indicates that it isn't the best way. And that things could really go a lot better if other options could be considered. This is why dictatorships are often terribly destitute, poor, unraveled countries, because no one can tell the dictator anything. And the dictator is often out of his depth on certain elements of politics, economy, military preparedness, environmental protection, health services, you name it. There's something that's always off in dictatorships because the information doesn't get through. So the passive style has the disadvantage of not offering up information and leaving you to take potluck with what anyone else decides. And the aggressive style makes you extremely unpopular with everybody else and has the disadvantage of not allowing new information in. So that leaves with the assertive style, which is the style that I favor and teach and support. And why do I think the assertive style is preferable? First of all, let's get something clear. The assertive style is not an aggressive style. The assertive style is not, it's about firmly standing up for what you believe. It's about defending your needs, your rights, your self-esteem, but it's not about taking those things away from anyone else. So there's an important limit here. Assertive and aggressive are two different things. Aggressive style is about mowing other people down. An assertive style respects other people perfectly well, but also respects yourself. Assertive communication requires that although you may be feeling emotions, you don't let emotions rule the day. You may even tell the person you're talking to or the group you're working with, this situation makes me feel uncomfortable. This situation makes me feel frustrated, angry, insulted, offended. You may have negative feelings that you may share with the person you're talking to, but your negative feelings don't carry the day either with you or the other person. You take the time to identify what is troubling to you in this situation and explain why it troubles you so the other person can understand it, and that way you're both on the same page. Most people do not want to insult you in the workplace. Most spouses do not want to insult their partner. So if you're having a problem, you can say, I do not like what just happened. I do not like what was just said, without necessarily having to get into a personal confrontation with the other person over it. You can say, this is what is bothersome to me. I perceive this thing as a problem. And here's a solution I'm willing to offer to that problem. Not that I'm closed to hearing yours. This isn't an aggressive communication. I'm not passive. I'm saying that I have a problem, and I'm saying what I think is the solution. And my solution may involve you. It may involve some change or effort or something on your part. And I'm willing to hear what you're willing to do about this problem. And that's why assertive communication is different from passive communication, in that you do represent yourself and you do share information with others and you do share of yourself. And it's different from aggressive communication in that you allow the other person to share of him or herself as well. It's a good system. It's fair-minded. It solves problems. It gets to the bottom of things and clears them up once and for all. So I encourage you, if you feel you'd like to go in depth on this, to reach out to me, and I'll be happy to talk to you about how we can make your communication more honestly assertive. It'll be good for you. It'll be good for me too. Talk to you then. Let's see you tomorrow evening. Good night now, and thanks for tuning in.